it going, everybody? My name is Muneer Mirza. I'm the General Manager of End User Computing. I want to welcome you here today. This is a really, really big day for us. We've got some incredible news to share. I've got some special guests joining me here as well. But let me take a moment and just set the stage. So I mentioned I'm the General Manager of End User Computing, and End User Computing means a lot of things to a lot of different people. So for us, it's a collection of services that we've been working on for a number of years, aiming to help people do a whole bunch of things, from remote work to streaming SaaS applications. We offer persistence and non-persistence. We offer a whole variety of different ways for accessing your content securely and protecting your company's intellectual property. And we've really seen a significant amount of growth throughout the pandemic. The pandemic really accelerated something that's been happening for a number of years, people running their desktops virtually. And as we thought about it, you might recall early on in the pandemic, we thought that this was something that was going to last for only a very, very short period of time. Well, unfortunately, it is something that extended over a period of multiple years. And what that did is it changed the way that we went about working fundamentally. So you can see here a number of quotes that we've listed insofar as trying to understand, hey, maybe we're going to have hybrid work in some capacity. Some folks going to go into the office, some folks aren't. In the future, we'll see a whole bunch of new ways of interacting. Maybe we'll come up with ways of dealing with things virtually. And fundamentally, even more, maybe there's a socioeconomic benefit to it. Maybe the environment improves, even as we might make some trade-offs in productivity. So this push towards remote work or hybrid work is something that we're seeing immensely, and we think is going to be here to stay for the long term. And it's not only us. It's a number of our customers who believe the exact same way as well. And we've worked with customers throughout the pandemic and for a really, really long time, also enabling them in their moments of needing something in the cloud. For example, Fox, keeping media and entertainment going all throughout the pandemic with a unique remote working solution. Maximus, a really, really cool story of a contact center provider that has helped the CDC throughout the pandemic and local governments here in the United States and abroad throughout their contact or with their contact center needs. One of the world's largest, Sitel Group, staffing their contact centers, enabling remote work. They were with me presenting at reInvent last year, talking about how much faster they were able to staff up as a result of being able to enable remote work in the way that we've helped them with. Samsung Engineering has been using AppStream for a number of years, helping out design their manufacturing centers throughout the world. Veolia, one of the world's largest public utilities companies, using AppStream for a variety of use cases, both corporate and engineering related. And this is a really, really neat story of an ISV, IHS Markit. They also presented with me last year at reInvent, talking about how they were able to take their data and analytics app. It's a desktop app. They moved it to SaaS running on AWS, and they were able to show so many more productivity gains insofar as being able to deliver that software faster, deliver updates more quickly, more expediently to their customers. And we have Multiview, an accounting company out of Canada, an accounting software company out of Canada. They took their desktop applications and published it as SaaS on AWS. And they're just starting with their cloud journey. This has allowed them to take a look at a whole bunch of different services to be cloud native and to deliver value for their customers. And of course, Johnson & Johnson, a longtime EUC customer with AWS. They've enabled a whole bunch of very, very important workloads in all the types of things that you've heard about in healthcare and consumer that they've been doing for many, many years. And as we think about, hybrid work, and as we think about supporting all these customers, and we think about delivering all these use cases, we realized for ourselves that we're not just that same old desktop as a service. We are so much more than that. And figuring out what's going to guide us as we do so much more, we come up with what we call tenets here at Amazon, these sort of guiding principles. And the two that we've really settled on are flexibility, which makes a ton of sense, right? This is something that AWS has been built on, giving choices of CPU, of RAM, of GPU, different OS configurations, all sorts of different choices that we give to customers, and leading to that exactly that choice. This is something that makes a ton of sense. It's very Amazonian to provide greater selection or greater choice. But where do we take our guidance from when we set these tenets? Something that I would encourage a lot of folks to take a very close look at, especially these days, are the Fair Software License Principles. Really, really unique set of principles that have come out recently, talking about things that you would just expect as you continue your cloud journey, or as you start using the cloud for even the very, very first time. Fundamentally, as a company, we believe that you should be able to bring the software that you've been running on-prem for a number of years to the cloud provider of your choice. And it's our job as cloud providers to be able to enable that as much as we possibly can without adding friction, without adding license fees, without penalizing you in any sort of way. Now, I would encourage you to take a very, very strong look, take a look at fairsoftware.cloud and see if this is something that resonates with you. And if it does, would love for you to sign up for it as well. In using AWS end-user computing, we've seen a whole bunch of innovations that people would expect, right? These are the types of things that folks come to AWS and they want to talk about. They want to see how their reliability, how the availability of their applications is going to go up and up and up so that their users can continue to be more productive. They want to know how we're applying hundreds of learnings, thousands of learnings in security to make their intellectual property more secure, and how to keep their data safe. And of course, they're looking for the economics of moving to the cloud, that moving from capital expenses to operating expenses and getting that efficiency. All right. So, we took a look at this collection of services. Remember, I introduced end-user computing, and we said we're more than just that typical desktop as a service, right? So we offer our existing Windows and Linux-based workspaces. We offer our non-persistent offerings, which includes streaming applications or non-persistent desktop with AppStream. And if you're so inclined and you want to do it yourself, we have the DIY version of just taking our protocol directly and using nice DCV. And building it, and we will help you with that on EC2. And as we kind of put this all together, we realized, we've got a little bit of a family here. And this collection of services, is all about virtual computing. And thinking hard about how we want to extend that family, well, we do that very Amazonian thing. We start with the customers and we work backwards. We took your input, we listened very, very hard, and worked really diligently about working on a network segment or working on a segment of our customers that we feel are genuinely underserved. And that brings me to my first announcement today and my first guest speaker. I'm very excited to introduce Alex Gallagher, the VP of Cloud of Canonical, who's here to talk about the work that we're doing together, bringing an Ubuntu desktop to our end users. Alex, please join me. Thanks for coming today.
Thanks, Muneer. I'm so happy to be here with you, and I'm so excited to announce this partnership with AWS. Ubuntu has long been the leading OS for development due to its support of a huge number of applications, packages, and libraries. Bringing Ubuntu to WorkSpaces provides a consistent environment from client, server, to cloud and IoT. This means that the same products and services can be delivered to about any environment or device. In addition, the uniform availability of Ubuntu from WorkSpaces to production significantly improves development, deployment, and maintenance workflows, ultimately efficiencies. We've heard from our customers they need the ability to use the latest and greatest hardware, including high-end workstations with things like GPUs. Those are pretty cost prohibitive for most organizations, so only a handful of developers can leverage that power. By moving these environments to the cloud, developers using Ubuntu Desktop can now take advantage of the flexibility in the underlying hardware, so they're using cutting-edge systems, but at a fraction of the cost and on demand. We're super excited about the flexibility and choice that AWS can offer to our Ubuntu customers, making it an option in Amazon WorkSpaces.
Thank you, Alex. We're stoked as well. I can't wait to get started at deploying Ubuntu desktops as part of that WorkSpaces family out for customers. It's really, really neat as well. Something that I learned, Canonical as a business is somebody that we can learn immensely from, as they've been supporting remote work for many, many years already. But you know, we've got, as I said, this family. And I want to remind you, going back to reInvent last year, that, hey, we are more than just that desktop as a service, right? And so at reInvent last year in 2021, we introduced WorkSpaces Web, one of the newest members of our family at that time, aimed specifically at browser as a service use cases, right? And so wouldn't it be cool if your end users could access internal websites or SaaS applications without having to actually use VPN? And as an IT administrator, wouldn't it be cool if you can manage over 300 policies centrally from our management console, and you'll never have to worry about what version of Chrome is running on people's desktops ever again? Something that we aim to solve to make people's lives so much simpler, so much easier. All right, so we've got this family here, right? I keep referencing that, and it's based on flexibility, and it's based on choice. We introduced our Ubuntu desktops, and we introduced WorkSpaces Web just under a year ago, and our streaming applications, and persistence and non-persistence, etc. So how do we make this even better? Well, again, we've had to go back to our customers and work through some of the really nuanced things that they wanted to say. And one of the lessons that we learned in talking to thousands of customers over a number of years is there is no easy button that you can press if you've been running an on-prem deployment with VDI for many, many years that takes that from its on-prem location to the cloud, that gives you the flexibility of cloud economics and the cost savings that come with it, that give you the security and the enhanced productivity that comes with it. There is no bridge that makes that happen. So we thought to ourselves, well, how do we actually go about making that bridge? So here's what we came up with. We came up with what we're calling WorkSpaces Core. And I'm really excited to announce these APIs that are going to be for any sort of VDI management software to build on top of the fully managed WorkSpaces infrastructure. So let's talk about this in very, very practical terms here. We're going to take the existing management console that you've been using for a very, very long period of time, and the existing client that your end users have been using for a very, very long period of time. And we're going to say you can take those as is and run them powered by a workspace underneath, a fully managed infrastructure underneath, knowing that you're never going to have to deal with peak, you're never going to have to deal with a lot of issues that come up with managing that capacity yourself. You get that benefit of the continuity of what you've been doing on-prem with the cloud-based economics and security and productivity that come with it. And this is that. Totally stoked about how this is going to fit into the entire family. Now, I can go on and on and on about all the different ways that a customer can actually go about using this, but why not actually hear directly from a customer themselves? With that, I'd love to play a video with a colleague of mine, Harry Labana from Goldman Sachs.
Goldman Sachs, we're a global financial services firm. We're 40,000 plus employees. We're in probably every imaginable financial market. We're globally distributed and a diversity of financial products. We launched what's called the Financial Cloud from Goldman Sachs, which allows customers to kind of deal with data, so they can search for the data, they can group it, and they can analyze it, and then they can combine that with all the knowledge that Goldman Sachs has to make better business decisions for their investments. So we have a long history, with AWS building services on an infrastructure that's reliable, secure, and distributed both for internal and external. So Amazon WorkSpaces Core, the API, to us represents better customer choice. Because now as a customer, we can choose our management or admin experience for a purpose-built VDI DaaS infrastructure, and we can tailor different experiences for different use cases. Now with an API, I can choose to connect to purpose-built infrastructure, which allows different price points, different hardware profiles. I think APIs allow us to not be confined to a point of view on a management interface. What customers want is more personalization, and it's sometimes very difficult to provide that through the confines of a opinionated management interface. And that's why I think APIs are gold, because it allows us to tailor very specific experiences that are driven by intelligence, and we can personalize the experiences that are best fit for the best time for the customer.
Thank you, Harry. Great for you to talk through your use cases with us, and I want to extend my well wishes to the Goldman team who took the time to put that video together, that very thoughtful video together for us. We can't wait for you to get started with WorkSpaces Core. So as I mentioned, WorkSpaces Core is so much more than enabling you with existing VDI technology. It's about taking what you've been doing, existing management console, existing client, and bringing it to the cloud. It's about being that bridge, and it extends our family of services. Like I said, we're so much more than just desktops. We've got options covering lots of different use cases and lots of different building blocks for customers. But what does this mean for us now here in very, very practical terms, right? So we listened a little bit to how Goldman thinks about implementing this purpose-built solution, this custom solution for them. It means that we're going to have to start working much more closely with a bunch of partners. We're going to have to start collaborating. And I'm very excited with that to announce our first collaboration partner, VMware. With that, I'd love to invite to the stage Sean Bass, the CTO of End User Computing at VMware. Sean, thanks for being here, brother.
Thanks so much for having me. Now, VMware has had a long-standing collaboration with AWS on hybrid cloud for many years now, but during that time, our two end user computing business units that each on their own are very successful have not really collaborated together. But as we look towards this continued hybrid workforce of the future, we see that customers have to do more with less. They're also seeking a quick return on investment for any of their technology projects. So what we need to do is meet customers where they are. We need to offer them choice and flexibility, and most importantly, we have to deliver value in record time. That's why we began this collaboration between end user computing at AWS and at VMware. Now, at VMware, Horizon is our flagship virtual desktops and applications product. We spent over 10 years investing in our BLAST protocol and user experience enhancements to give users the best possible experience over any network from any location in the world. We've also invested significantly in advanced management features that are needed at the enterprise level and in hybrid cloud support. We're excited to bring this innovation to Amazon WorkSpaces to be able to leverage the simplicity, the scalability, reliability, and geographical reach of WorkSpaces. The best part is that customers can manage their virtual desktops and apps on premises and/or in the cloud in an easy and seamless manner. So we're very excited to work on Amazon with this, and thanks very much for having us.
You bet. Thank you, Sean. This is going to be great. We can't wait to get started with this. This is going to be a ton of fun. Now, if you can't wait even another second to get going, to learn so much more about this collaboration with two partners that have enjoyed working together for a number of years, and I look forward to continue to work together for a number more years, to work on and bring that flexibility, that choice over to customers, this is the best way to do it. I've put that QR code up right on the screen right now. Feel free to click through, and we're going to have a ton more content coming for the rest of the day. All right, one more thing. If you're like me, we've heard a ton from you about what it's been like to work throughout the pandemic. If your screen looks anything like some of the images that you're seeing on the screen right now, you should know that you're not alone. In fact, I live my life almost exactly like this when I start working. And what it means is that feedback that we get, that folks are really, really expecting that high fidelity audio video experience when interacting with their virtual desktops, right? This is something that we should be taking for granted in 2022. We agree. Now, we've been working very, very heavily on our protocols, and I'm excited to say with our latest releases that we've seen tremendous amounts of improvements in being able to deliver that hi-fi experience natively through the workspace. I'm also, to that extent, looking to leverage our partnerships. As I mentioned, today is a day of firsts, and so this is, another partnership that we're excited to roll out later this year with Zoom, who else? Who would you expect? But for us to be able to say, we are going to provide that very, very high fidelity audio video experience seamlessly as part of our workspace. It's going to be really, really cool. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't have any of my Zoom colleagues join me here today, but I'm sure that we'll get a chance to meet together with you as a customer at reInvent. Now, speaking of reInvent, I'd love to see you there. It's going to be great. We'd first love to invite you to a special get-together and a reception for our end-user computing colleagues. You'll get a chance to meet me and a chance to meet a lot of folks who are working on the service, plus to commiserate with a whole bunch of other customers that are out there. Of course, we've got my leadership session. This will be my 4th leadership session at reInvent, and I look forward to introducing even more innovations that we're going to be bringing forward in the coming months. And I just want to say thank you. Wrapping it up today with our leadership team. Thank you to Alex. Thank you to Sean for joining me here on stage with this very, very special event, this day of firsts for us. It's been a real humbling experience to continue to learn from and work backwards with customers, to innovate, to deliver new things, to improve the performance, the reliability, to help build that bridge so that you can more easily use the software that you've been using for a number of years in the cloud. I encourage you again to take a look at fairsoftware.cloud as a website to make sure and see if those principles resonate with you and to lend your voice to it as well. And finally, just to say, hey, I look forward to you spending a ton of time with the rest of our colleagues here today, making sure that you can dive deep into a whole bunch of different topics, including our WorkSpaces core partnerships, including the Ubuntu desktops, and what we're doing with Zoom. And finally, I want to thank again the Goldman Sachs team and all the production crew who've helped put this incredible thing together. We'd love to get your feedback. You're going to hear this a lot throughout the day, so please feel free to drop a note, click through on the QR code, send me a note directly. Thanks everybody for joining me here today. Look forward to working with you more in the future.